Welcome. Welcome to this module on excelling as a first-time manager. Now, before we talk about what this particular module is all about, let me try to focus on these words which are called as the first-time manager. What do we mean by that? What we mean by that is this: excellent people in the excellent functional areas need not necessarily be the excellent managers. They can be very good in their field, but as a manager, they are not known to have excelled. To elaborate this point, let me take an example of a person I used to know, a person by the name of Raghu. Raghu was working in a multinational company as a sales executive. Fantastic sales executive. He had that enthusiasm. He had that ability to sell. He had the willingness to go and explore all the possible avenues to make the sales happen. He used to work very hard. He had excellent product knowledge. In all, he was a very good salesman. Naturally, all his qualities, all his competencies used to get converted into the targets, and there was no time in his career he ever missed his targets. Every year, year on year, he used to achieve his targets, and he was one of those phenomenal salespeople, those who had made a great impact in that company. Eventually, on the basis of his performance, Raghu was elevated. He was given a position of a manager, sales manager in a specific territory. He was happy, his family was happy, his bosses were happy, and everyone around him were happy. Raghu started working as a manager, and then he realized that other people, those who are working for him, those who are reporting to him, are not able to perform the sales well. They are making obvious mistakes. They are not able to convert the deals that he could have converted so easily. He used to get frustrated. He used to shout at people. He used to call names to people. He was not a very acceptable to the people, and eventually an excellent salesman was not able to become an excellent manager. His performance as a manager was not really good. His performance as a team leader was not very good as well. So an excellent salesperson is not necessarily an excellent sales manager. And that is what we are talking about right now, that being an excellent person in their functional area does not necessarily make that person an excellent manager. Our module tries to focus on those people, those who have been very good in their functional areas and have been elevated as a manager for the first time. They are going to be leading as a manager for the first time. Now, what are the things, what are the precautions that they have to take? What are the skills that they have to imbibe? What are the things that they have to learn? The module is going to focus on that. For the sake of simplicity, what we will do is this: we will divide this particular module in 9 parts. Let me talk about these particular 9 parts now. The part number 1 is something what we will call over here as take charge. You are a manager now, take charge as a manager. That is going to be our part 1. The part 2 will focus on how to establish your authority. How are you going to ensure that your authority is going to be understood? How you understand your authority as well. So we will focus on establishing an authority as a manager. The third one that will focus on, the third part that will focus on, will be on that particular specific topic, which is pretty interesting, and that topic is: why do some bosses are hated by people? Why do people not like their bosses? Well, of course not all the bosses, but some bosses, yes. So we will spend our third part of this particular module on understanding that why people don't like their bosses. The fourth part that we are going to do, or that we are going to talk about, is something on visibility. As a manager, how much is your visibility? Are you accessible? Are you available? So let's talk about this particular term which is called as visibility, which is going to be our module number 4, or the part number 4. We'll talk about an excellent and very important topic for the first time managers, the topic which is called as delegation. Why to delegate? what to delegate, what not to delegate, and how to delegate. We will spend our time on this particular topic of delegation, and we will move on to the next one, which is called as a very interesting one, and I am sure you have to use it in a nice way as well, how to praise your subordinates. Now, praising, by the way, let me tell you, is not flattery. I am not saying that you are going to flatter your people. I am saying that praising is a very excellent tool that can be used by managers. So let's understand that what is praising, how to praise people, how to understand, so that people will understand you are praising them and they get rewarded by that. So let's understand what is called as the praising people. That will be our next part. As a manager, you will be holding a lot of meetings. How to hold successful meeting is going to be the part that will be following the module or the part on praising. So holding successful meetings is going to be our next part. The second last and a very important one too is something which is called as listening. Developing the listening skills for the managers is going to be our second last part of this particular module. And the last one over here is understanding the performance management, performance of not you as a manager, but performance of the people, those who report to you as well. So understanding the performance management is the one that we are going to be discussing in our last part. So let's start with the first one first.